Aha, thank you. Thank you, CVT. My sound was not working. So, I was just basically saying hello to everybody. So, sorry about that. The sound was not working. It was off. It should be on now. So, hopefully you can see me. You can hear me. George will be joining us. I just talked to him a few minutes ago. So, I'm not sure where he's at, but I think he will be on the stream in just a few minutes. Good afternoon. Can you hear me now? Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Okay. Yes. So CVT Dallas said I can hear you now. Yeah, accurate info. SoFi. I know SoFi's on fire. Oh, hold. We got special guest. Can you hear me?
We're unpacking right now. Well, the mice in my pocket. Don't let Becky know that I'm doing this, okay? She's yelling at me already.
This is a
Tom, are you calling this a bull trap?
Are you calling this a bull trap?
I don't know. Hello, everyone.
George is in Georgia.
I got Georgia on the mind.
Unpacking.
I was trying to set my computer up, use my Starlink, but that didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work? You're just not done setting it up.
You got to drill a hole in your house.
Oh, that's right. You got to get that from the inside to the outside. We had that little thing. Yep.
Everybody just drills a hole in their house, right, Tom?
Exactly. Hey, Stephen English said George has lost like 20 pounds since Friday. Looking good.
Maybe. I'm wearing my work shirt, see?
I found some of those pounds. So I made a declaration yesterday. So I'm going to make it on the stream. And now I'm going to have to report back on a regular basis.
Uh-oh.
Last night needs to be the last time I ever see over 230 pounds on the scale. That's it.
Wow. I'm catching you, Tom. Sorry, I'm screaming.
The madness has to stop. So I'm full all out. I had a party I had to go to yesterday with the family, and so of course you eat. So I ate all the wrong things and dessert and then some more dessert, and so I came home. I'm like, I gotta look, and I was 230.4 pounds. So that's it.
Wow.
I figure if I don't weigh myself for a couple of days, I should be under 230, and then I never want to see it again. I'd really like to get to 190.
And I gave them, just so you guys all know, when did I start my diet? A month ago, just over a month ago now.
Yeah.
And anytime we go out to eat dinner, Steven's only like once or twice maybe. I always stick to my diet. And I realize I have to cheat one day a week because it just hurts me too much.
So we got a lot of people. Organic Auto is also saying you look like you lost weight, and Alexander.
Thank you,
Martin said, who's the skinny guy next to Tom? Stephen English said, stop going out for dinner every meal. I think he's giving advice to me. Yeah, you're right, Stephen. At 230, I'm not a 230-pound guy. Well, I am, but I shouldn't be. So
that's insane. I'm 288 or 289, something like that now. So
nice.
Here's the deal. I've slowed down my weight loss, by the way. I personally have slowed it down.
Intentionally?
Because I don't want to have that flabby skin.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about?
That's a good problem to have to slow down because you're losing weight too fast.
Yeah, I've slowed it down because I want to, I want to look good. I don't really care about the weight anymore. I just want to look healthy,
I
So, Tom,
I felt it yesterday. You can feel it when your pants don't fit anymore.
hang on, I got to go in. 2:00 Sunday morning, I get text message. Did you hear the SEC is suing Nakamoto or whatever his name is? And Bitcoin?
Well, whose name is?
What, the Satoshi?
Oh, how can you sue a pseudonym that nobody knows who they are?
I'm waiting to see. I'm almost thinking we have to go to see if he walks through the door. I'm thinking of going and pretending like I'm him.
Well, if they're suing him, I don't think now's the perfect time to pretend that you're him.
We're all not. What is it? Satoshi. We're all Satoshi.
Ray said George has so much gray hair today. Got frustrated about the crypto dip? ? It's so funny. Depending on the lighting, it's so wild. I know that sometimes hair can look gray or brown, and it all has to do with the lighting in the room.
Yeah. I'm not set up to really stream right now, but I don't care. You see that gray? Isn't that insane?
Alex is saying buying a new scale won't work. Listen, if this scale reads 130 again, I'm throwing it out and getting a new one.
230, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, 230.
That was a few years ago, Tom, 130.
Yeah. I remember weighing 130. That's 100 pounds ago and 40 years ago, but
right.
Whatever. Crazy week, said Miguel.
So, what are you thinking with Bitcoin?
Well,
have you changed? Are we going to do our first?
Oh, before we give our opinion, we should do the poll. The poll. But before we do that, if everybody could be so kind as to smash the like button so that we get sent out into the YouTube algorithm and more people come our way. I'm also going to do another invitation because I have so many people telling me that they don't get notified of these streams. So I'm going to do a community post right now letting everybody know we are currently mid live stream. And
I'm going to get a water then.
You go get a water. Everybody else, if you could please smash the like button. Helps a lot. Much appreciated. And if you have not yet subscribed, of course, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. That also helps in the algorithm. Pobrain said I shaved off 10 to 15 pounds by reducing sugar. I know, that's a big one. I have a big sugar issue. I'm addicted to sugar. Ron's asking, Tom, do you see Bitcoin moving tomorrow with CPI data? So, Ron, I'm going to answer that question after the poll. So, let me post a poll right now. Super quick poll. Our poll we've done on every stream for months now. All right. Boom. Okay, so same as always. What's Bitcoin's next move? Are we going to 30K or are we going to hit 25K? Understanding even just at this 15-minute time frame, we got down today to 25,743, and then several hours later, 25,758. And we're only at 25,860 right now, so we're certainly closer to 25 than 30, but which one are we actually going to hit next? And I will zoom out and show you that we've still, with all of this sideways and a little bit downward pressure, we still have not hit my purple line at 25,200. Let's go to the 1 day. So you can see, like this was that bottom we had on March 10th, and then we had a nice rally up. So this was just a pullback inside of a rally. We've been rallying for all year now, but we got up over 31,000. Oh, well, let's see, $31,050. That was back on April 14th. So from there, obviously we're down. But if you see this purple line, which was the line, that's one of my lines of support, we have not hit it on 3 different days. This is the 1-day time frame. So this is June 5th, June 6th, then again June 10th, just 2 days ago. We approached that line, but we haven't even gotten down to 25.2, never mind 25,000. So which one comes first? That is the question. And then George and I, once the poll gets a little momentum, George and I will give you what our opinion is on this matter.
I should go. I don't even know.
It's free.
Last time I said 30, by the way. The last poll on Friday, I said 30.
And we're very sideways. And I just, well, I'm not going to say anything yet. We got
no
free to vote. Everybody vote. Vote. Give us, we want to hear from you guys. Meanwhile, while Bitcoin did not have the best of days, so you'll see, I mean, this is 2 days in a row where really this is not the best of times or the worst of times. This is just extremely, extremely narrow trading range for the last couple of days. It's near the bottom of our overall trading range, you know, over this couple of month period, but we're still here going sideways. Now, let me zoom. Let me go to the 4. So on the 4 hour, yeah.
No, sorry.
On the 4 hour, we can go back to Friday. So this line right here, the gold line or yellow or whatever, that is where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equities closed on Friday. So that was going into the weekend. So you can see we pretty much immediately went below this line and never got back to it, including all day today. Wow. Right now, our poll is at exactly 50% to 50%. So let's vote. This poll has never been tied before at the final. So we got things are getting...
And it's usually been 80-20, right?
80-20, 70-30. We got a couple of times we got 2/3, 1/3. We did have one that got a little bit close, but we've never been tied. So we'll see. This one's super close. And I mean, I don't blame, even if you think it's going to 30, if you look at these 3 spots right here, I mean, 25,385, 25,351, 25,391. I mean, we've been knocking on the door of 25,000. It just doesn't go there. It's incredible. Even on the 4 hour time frame, you can see those are candle wicks, and we ended way up from there just on those 4 hour candles. So this seems to be the low on the 4 hour candle, is about 25,600-ish. So that's been super solid support. Alex said Bitcoin closed the week 26,500 area, opened the week 25,900. Last week or this week? So where do we go back? So last Friday, yeah, I mean, this was just this most recent Friday, and then this was the previous Friday. So we did have all this action in the middle, but we just can't break out. This descending line of resistance has been holding. You can see we got very close to it Sunday, so that was a week ago yesterday. We haven't really been back testing it since, and we're going very sideways, and nothing looks nothing looks extremely bullish. Nothing. To me, the technicals all look pretty much the sideways action that we're getting. I know a lot of people have been expecting this, the summer of sideways, I would call it. George, you're saying
summer
it's,
of hell.
Summer of hell. George is going for the summer of hell. I'm saying a lot of people are calling for the summer of sideways, but I will tell you, I think it's going to be a better summer than people think. So
We differ.
That's my personal opinion. We got big information coming out tomorrow morning.
Is there going to be a pump tomorrow, Tom? I'm thinking about, does anybody trade any other coins besides Bitcoin?
Oh.
I am really thinking about getting into ADA. I mean, like, heavy position.
Cardano. I got 3. I didn't buy any. And I have 3 coins that I just think presented unbelievable buying opportunities over the weekend. And even really still right now.
Is ADA one of them?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm thinking about going super, super, super heavy into it. Is it still bouncing around 26?
You know me. I never go from 0 to 100, but
I'm thinking about building another position like I did in XRP and
then just
ADA.
starting to.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cheap, Tom. I mean, it's insane. Did you also, which one was it that got destroyed? Was it Shiba? Shiba is like just plummeting.
Oh yeah, Shiba is, yeah, look how far down. Did I miss it? Wow.
No. Yeah.
18. So I don't know. I mean, why was Shiba ever anything? But here, you know, it's still almost $4 billion, but look at Doge. It was ahead of Dogecoin for a while.
I know.
And now, you know, it's less than half of Dogecoin. I also would never buy Dogecoin. Congratulations to any of those of you who may have made money on that trade. But to me, I never wanted any part of that. But they made this real simple for us. And it's compliments to the SEC. You can see it right here. You got Cardano in the last 7 days down about 22%. It was worse than that, but that's still a 22%. You know, buying it right now represents, in my opinion, a big discount. You got Solana down 25%, and my personal favorite, Polygon or Matic, down almost 24% in the last week. I mean, and it's down. I'm going to go into the Polygon because to me, this is getting too. I leave myself in the hard position of being so already with the Bitcoin miners. I'm disproportionately invested in cryptocurrency. So to go buy a bunch of cryptocurrency on top of that, I really want to wait for the right opportunity, but I'm not sure it's going to get better than this.
I think it's going a little bit farther down, just so you know. I don't think we're at the bottom yet.
You don't think we're at the bottom?
No. I think we're getting real. I think, let's put it this way. I can't afford not to start buying right now. That's my problem.
Here, on February 17th, 2023, that's this year. That's 4 months ago. Polygon was $1.52, so it's down more than 50% by far.
And do you remember who was big on Poly? And I said, no, not yet. No. Do you remember?
Who?
She's a girl.
Oh,
and she's got 3 letters in her name.
I know Sue's been on Polygon. Sue Ennis has been on Polygon for 2 years.
Remember when this was $3.5 trillion? Cryptocurrency was $3.5 trillion. And I said, Tom, what did I say? Do you remember what I said?
You were calling for the big pullback down to a trillion.
I said it was going to 500 billion. I didn't say a trillion. I said 500 billion.
It's at just over a trillion right now.
Yeah.
So trillion and 49.
I don't know if it's going to get the 500, but I bet you it gets really damn close.
So you still think there's a lot of pain ahead because that's cutting everything in half from here.
And then I think it gets interesting.
So we have, man, I might call this poll. Let's see how many people have voted. This is madness.
Is it really?
It's still exactly tied.
Tom, you know what is funny about crypto and everything of where it's gone? I've been saying this for, what, a year and a half now? That we were going to get destroyed in crypto. We were going to get destroyed. They're going to start bringing lawsuits. They're going to give us no clarity. You guys were all like, nah, they're going to come up with regulations. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but to be fair, you said you talked about numbers a lot lower than this.
Yes, I don't think it's over with.
So you're still thinking those numbers.
I have not changed my mind yet.
And
actually, think about this, Tom. There's more reasons now for there to be a dump than ever before.
Or are there less reasons?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, how much fear, uncertainty, and doubt can they spread? That's all that's going on right now.
But let me explain one thing. But I am going to start dollar cost averaging into the top 10 coins.
So even whether we pull back or not, so that's a good time. See, if you have that strategy, then even if you think we're going down from here, you know, you're hedging your bets. You start now, and if you get more buying opportunities, then, you know, you keep averaging in at lower costs. So, yeah, that's the way to do it.
I'm doing a Michael Saylor. I'm selling my house so I can buy Bitcoin.
So I said this was the bottom back here. So technically, that was not the bottom. And that was back in June of 2022. So that was a full year ago is when I called the bottom with a high level of confidence. Now, you can see this 1 week was FTX. So we did get below this for a short period of time, but then you can see this corrected itself. We got right back above it. We've never looked back. So I think all these numbers, I don't see Bitcoin ever getting down to these types of numbers again. And that doesn't mean it can't go lower. And I know the future is unknown. That's the bottom line. And you know,
so you're saying, Tom,
things can happen. Anything can happen.
Tom, I think what you're saying is the future is so bright, you got to wear shades.
I think for Bitcoin, the future's so bright, you got to wear shades. I think there's some other coins that have pulled back to a point where they're going to have a nice run. I think there's tens of thousands of coins that are going to disappear. So, you know, for those of you hoping for, you know, that $1 million lottery ticket, those types of coins, in my mind, the more all of this happens, the more likely I think it is that those coins disappear. Now, that doesn't mean a bunch of people won't get rich in the middle, but it's going to be on everybody else's back that, you know, loses all their money, because these coins that have no use case, nothing, they're just there to make somebody rich. And
that's not you.
and that's right. Until it happens to be me, I'm against them.
No. What I'm saying is that's not you with the euphemism of everybody. That's not you. It's the person who made the coin.
That's right. Exactly.
Unless there is a case used for it. Unless there is some reason for the coin has utility.
And there's several coins that do have utility. They have a lot of adoption, and it was some of the ones we just talked about. You know, I didn't mention Ethereum, and I know we did do a poll. There was almost 20% of the people on our stream, which is a very Bitcoin skewed stream. There was still 20% of the people that thought Ethereum would ultimately pass Bitcoin. So George just froze. I don't know what happened. So, you know, anything can happen, but I feel pretty confident unless weird things happen. I feel like this was the bottom. The bottom's long since history. Also, I think we're still in, you know. Oh, hold. I see George, but I don't see George. Can you hear me now? I don't know. I think we lost the feed on George. I'll leave a black screen there for a minute. Oh,
hang on. I had to
and
vote.
he's back.
There you go. There you go. I had to vote. Sorry. I realized it would do that.
You had to vote?
When I vote?
Oh, you
Yes.
had to vote. Got ya. Should I call it? We have 60 votes in, and now all of a sudden there's starting to be a little bit of a difference. I'm calling it.
Can I tell you what I did?
Yeah.
I changed from Friday to Monday to 25.
Oh, so Friday you said 30.
Yep.
And today you said 25.
Yep.
Despite your particular flip-flop, it looks like 30's going to pull it out, but super close. This was tied most of the way. It's now 30,000 is at 55%, 25,000 is at 45%. I'm going to call it. So ever so slightly bullish, but with, you know, this is probably well within the margin of error. We're
back. Call Emma.
This is a split. We're split. Martin's asking, what's CPI going to be tomorrow? So we should talk about that.
I think I said 3.8, 3.9.
So, okay, so, you know, when you said that, they hadn't really posted consensus yet, and consensus came in at, so 4.1 is the expectation. So you're not really that far off from that.
No, yeah, and they're wrong. I'm right. I've already crunched the data.
Well, I'm glad to hear your level of conviction in that.
I've crunched the data, and I've already seen the numbers. I mean, no, I haven't seen any numbers. I'm saying 3.89, 3.8.
That would be, in my opinion, that would be a home run. And that would be a good thing for the market.
What do you think that does for Bitcoin? And what do you think that does for the Fed?
I think so. All right. So before I answer that, let's do a poll on the Fed. But we got to give our answers to the last poll. I'll do a poll on the Fed. Then we can give our answer to what we think the Fed is going to do. So for me, you already let everybody know. You flip-flop down to, you think we're going to hit 25. So your confidence is less today here on Monday than it was on Friday. I am still saying 30,000 is next. And I do think it has to do with what we're about to talk about right now. So, which is CPI and the Fed.
So you don't think this is a bull trap?
It could be.
Oh, that guy never came back on the stream when I told him I was confused on the bull trap. Remember? Bear market. Remember how offended he got?
Why was
remember
he offended? I remember the conversation.
You're an idiot. I know.
Listen, either nobody knows everything, so
no. But now I know.
I'm going to just add a word to this.
Uh-oh. We're getting ready for another pull, guys. I feel it. I got to give blood.
Got to give blood? Okay, will the Fed raise rates at this meeting on Wednesday? Just yes or no. I'm not even going to put... This is either a 0 or a quarter of a point. There's nothing else on the table. So if you think something else...
Before we go up to that, XRP, Uphold, I quote-unquote bank my crypto at Uphold. They break down, they give you an update of what the buying is.
Yes.
60% of the people buying crypto right now are buying Cardano. So it's a retail pump.
Well, and Cardano's getting crushed.
I know.
But it sounds like that's bringing the retail investors into it.
Yep. So I'm calling that a retail pump. Does that make sense? Remember I said I don't think it's done yet? Not saying I'm not going to buy. I just don't think it's done.
Well,
okay. Wait. I have another question for you. So the house where we moved into, the windows are 6 feet tall. You know what I mean? The windows 6 feet tall.
6 foot windows.
6 foot windows. And we ordered them from blinds.com. Have you heard of them?
I have not heard of blinds. So you ordered your
blinds.
window coverings.
The blinds. We ordered the blinds from blinds.com, okay?
Gotcha.
So 6 foot tall windows, you know, they're pretty high up there. The cords are like 1 foot from the top. I'm 6'4". I can't even reach the cords.
Oh, so
think about
cords? How can that be?
You think about this. You got 18 inches right to the bottom of the window, and then the window's 6 foot tall. So that's 7 feet 6 inches. And then the cord comes down, 10 inches, maybe 8, 9 inches. Wouldn't you complain?
Yeah,
they're worthless.
Listen, half your family can reach those.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, that was a side note. You can go back on. So I'm not a fan right now of blinds.com. So if you're thinking about buying blinds, I cannot recommend them at this present time.
That's not financial advice. That is George's opinion based on his recent purchase.
Right.
Craig said Truflation says we're already below 3. I know. Truflation, I got that's up somewhere. I'll press refresh just in case. Oh, see? Never hurts to press refresh. 2.75%. So these, Truflation, it never one-to-one mirrors the CPI data, but it's a very good indicator that you can see. I mean, look at this. This is a straight line down for a long time now. But you can see at the peak back last June when the CPI was at 9.1, Truflation was at almost 12. So, but this is a good indicator that we're going to get a good number.
Well, I'll tell you another thing interesting. I went grocery shopping, which I never do, but I did. And I went to the eggs. All the cheap eggs were gone, and the expensive eggs were all there. I thought that was really interesting.
Well, you get the expensive eggs anyway, so that...
I know I do, but I'm just saying all the cheap eggs were, the cheap ones, you know what I mean? Like the ones you buy, like they're no name brand, nothing.
I hear you. They're not grass-fed. They're not
exactly.
No antibiotics, hormones, etc., etc. Cosmic Contrarian said, better buying opportunities are in the future.
Ooh, someone agrees with me.
Life said, the 15th of June and the Core's exit plan will be the big news of this week. Oh, yeah. I mean, that is going to be big news because Core's is still, I mean, as far as production goes, they're still producing more than anybody. They did beat Marathon even in the month of May when Marathon absolutely destroyed its all-time record and got 1,245. Core Scientific got something like, don't quote me on this, something like 1,319 maybe. So they still
they could have hit 1,500, Tom.
Core Scientific has actually taken several steps backwards because they had to reduce their exahash as a part of what they're doing. But even with all of that, I mean, they're still a giant here. So the question becomes, when we see this plan, we're going to know what's in store for shareholders.
What do you think? What are you anticipating?
I roll the dice, flip a coin. It all depends.
They gotta be something.
Here's the thing. I anticipate great, and this is the hard part to differentiate. I anticipate good things for Core Scientific. I don't know that their existing shareholders are going to participate in that. So one can be true without the other.
Is that because they just got too much debt?
They have so much debt. How much of that debt is going to be convertible or converted, or, you know, how many extra shares? There's a lot. You know, we got to see what this looks like. And most of the time, not all the time, and a lot of good things happened since these guys went into Chapter 11, right? Bitcoin was at like 16,000. Well, it's $10,000 higher than that right now, and it was as much as 15,000 higher. So good things have happened since then, and maybe this is going to be one of those exceptions where the shareholders win. I hope it is, but...
I have a question, and I know, listen, we're not attorneys. We don't play attorneys or anything, no financial advice here. But because there's different levels of stock, there's usually a preferred stock and there's a common stock, correct?
Yes, and there can be multiple types of preferred stock and convertible debt. And
could this happen? That they screw all the people in common stock, make the preferred stock the now common stock, and then issue more stock?
Well, if you own common stock, they can't take it from you. So you're still going to have...
I mean, what would they do? Reorganize, do a new corporation?
I mean, technically, yes, but you're still going to have shares. But the question is, what percent of the existing shares of that is common stock right now, what percent is that going to be of the new company?
I gotcha.
Is that going to be 80%? Is that going to be 8%? Right? So, and anything in between. I know there's a lot of people that are still in Core Scientific thinking, you know, potentially, and they're right, there's potentially big upside, because ultimately their market cap's going to go way up from where it is right now. The problem is, you know, what's your piece of that puzzle going to be? Your piece of the pie.
So it can be that low. It could be super low.
Yeah, there's most of the time in these Chapter 11s, the common stockholders get destroyed because they're at the bottom of the food chain. They're behind everybody. They're the last ones to get paid. So,
wow.
You know, that's your risk reward in investing in the market. So we know that going in, that's the risk. Stephen English said Marathon mined 17 blocks the last 24 hours. Cosmic Contrarian, Mara is a beast. JD said Mara is producing. Let's go. So see, this is interesting because remember, we talked about this on the stream a week ago where Marathon's numbers were a little low. And in May, they came out gangbusters. The first 10 days were big time. In June, the first few days were not as good, but now here you go. 17 blocks in one day that's crazy time. So those are big numbers. So we'll see if they beat May, it's going to be very difficult. Whereas in May, almost every single Bitcoin miner mined more than they did in the previous month. And we knew that. We talked about that on the channel all month, and that had a lot to do with the fact that despite the fact that there were 2 difficulty increases, there were so many fees collected on those ordinals that all the Bitcoin miners performed better. Well, the reverse is happening now. It's going to be really hard in June. It's going to be hard for a lot of these companies to beat their May numbers. So we'll see who does. 17 blocks in one day helps for Marathon, that's for sure. Sorry, I'm just scrolling. Crypto Golfer said, never follow the retail money. Well, that's usually pretty good advice. Alex said, look at the after hours numbers of the miners. So let me look at that on my little device here. Why are we getting movement? Well, I don't see any madness going on.
Where?
So let me know if you guys see anything that I'm missing. And these I will tell you, after hours numbers are not very reliable. Things trade on super small volume, especially in some of these, you know, I'm not going to say lesser, but the less popular Bitcoin miners. The volume could be so unbelievably low after hours. And while we're on that topic, I'll bring up.
You can wave.
Oh,
you don't want to wave?
We had a.
For some reason, I don't have internet service over here.
Even the Starlink?
No, I haven't hooked it up. I was gonna hook it up.
Here, for those of you who care, I am not following this company.
Love you.
Because this is not a pure play Bitcoin miner. I know they're in the space. They're directly, you know, correlated. They're in the Bitcoin business, but they have a totally different. They're not a Bitcoin mining company the way all of our companies the 18 that I follow are. But here you go. Here's a date, and my point on this is about volume, and that's why after hours can be so dangerous. BitDeer today is up 23%. So it seems like, you know, that's a staggeringly large up day. But total volume 225,000 shares. So nobody's trading this stock. You know, this is like 1/10,000th the volume of, you know, Riot or Marathon. And their average volume is 77,000 shares a day, which is nothing. I'm going to do the math real quick. What happened to my... Come on now.
Okay, now I can start reading the comments.
Oh, you're up and running.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
So for this company, their average day is less than $500,000 of activity. So just for a minute, I'll go to TeraWolf, which is one of the less traded companies by far. So this is 1.5, average volume 3 million, so they're $4 or $5 million a day. That's tiny, because if you look at the big companies in here, I'm going to go to Riot, and Marathon's even trades more than Riot does. Right, 23 million shares is their average volume at $10 a share. That's $230 million a day that runs through Riot. So you're looking at BitDeer going, wow, they had a great day. But the problem is, you know, less than $1 million ran through that all day today. So, well, actually, today was a little more than $1 million, but their average day is less than $500,000. So I don't know what to make of this. There's no logical reason. There's no news that I saw that says BitDeer should have had anything other than a standard issue, uneventful day. But you can get these swings in these companies that trade in ultra low volume. And I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to look at the historicals. To me, this is shocking, and I won't trade a stock like this. Okay, this was last Thursday. 9,000 shares traded for the day. Right? That means they about $50,000 to $60,000 out of everybody. That's how much money moved through this company. That's almost not liquid. And it's not the only time. Here, look, June 1st, 5,900 shares. I mean, these are shocking numbers. So I know a lot of people are excited about BitDeer. I'm not one of those people. I don't know if any of you are on the stream. You can let me know. But I'm not going to trade a stock where on any given day, I mean, Marathon trades 10 times this many options every day. And this is the number of shares of stock this company is trading. So, all leading back to my point that be careful of after hours, because sometimes you'll see huge moves in after hours and you'll think something's happening only for, you know, the next day. By the time it opens, you know, nothing. It was nothing. Nothing happened. And that's all I have to say about that. Let me zoom in. So I will take the opportunity, because it is a rare opportunity. The leader today of all the Bitcoin miners was Bitfarms, up 7.34%. So I don't make too much out of that. Every single one of these miners, for the most part, is still trading inside of a range. They haven't broken out of the top or the bottom of their range, with the exception of Gree, which continues to set new all-time low after new all-time low after new all-time low. But most of the larger Bitcoin miners are very, very sideways. So yes, today it's very rare that Bitfarms is the winner on the day. So that, as you guys know, is a position for me. I do get ridiculed for that position. So today I'll take my one victory lap. So hopefully it doesn't disappear tomorrow, now that I've mentioned it. But all the Canadian miners actually did better today. Hut was up 4.7, Hive was up 3.3, versus, the big three in the U.S. really. Marathon was down 0.5%, Riot was down 0.87%. Those are the big two by market cap by a mile out of all of these. Cleanspark was down 1%. Cypher was up 5% today. So Cypher had been pulling back a little bit, and I thought maybe it would get to a point where I would add to my position, but boom, doesn't it turn around today and go up 5%. Iris Energy, I didn't do it, but this morning, I don't do these types of moves, but this morning I almost said, you know what, let me just put everything into Iris Energy and I'll get it out of there by 2 o'clock. And that would have been the trade of the day, and it was so blatantly obvious on again, it was about volume for me. On super low volume, this got down to, let's see, $2.85 this morning, and it was like $2.90 when I was looking at it going, this is stupid. So, if you bought at the low and sold at the high, and almost nobody does that perfectly, that's a 30% move in one day. So let's say, you took some of the risk out and you took 20%. Boom, 20% gain on a day trade. That to me was, screaming. But I didn't do that, and I very rarely, if ever, do things like that. But I do look at them and see them. Trying to catch up in the...
Did any report their earnings, Tom? I mean, their coins?
I do not believe any has done their update for this month yet. I'm still waiting for, unless I missed something. Hold on, let me check my little alert thing here. Unless I missed something this afternoon, nobody announced today, and we're still waiting for a few. Yeah, I don't see anybody announcing. I'm waiting. What I'm waiting for, and it may not come, I'd like to see any put out their monthly production, which they've done in the past. I'd like to see Stronghold do a monthly report this month, and I'd like to see Mawson do a monthly report. Those companies are starting to mine some Bitcoin, and at least one of those companies would probably make the top 10 list if they would do a monthly operational report. But if we don't know, we can't report that which we do not know. All right. Bernoulli Fish said, Bitdeer, ... I've seen one of their facilities. I will politely decline. So I'm with you. Thanks for the insight. Sounds like you've gotten it up close and personal on that. Alex said, Iris continues to push bullish again today. Yeah, I mean, Iris is the Bitcoin miner I've bought the most of by far in 2023. It's not my biggest position because I had none of it coming into 2023. But this year, early on, I started going into Iris Energy. I didn't buy any today. I did see that what I thought was going to be a big opportunity, but I let it be because even, you can see, look, this is what it did today. So, as a long-term trader, if I'm looking... Oh, that's the one day. let me go to the 1 hour. So, you know, if I'm looking at the big picture, well, that's back to April 23rd. So this was potentially a little bit of an opportunity right here, I suppose. But we're still, like most of these, you know, it's still kind of trading everything. That's their low. And then, you know, I can't draw a straight line, as you guys know by now. But this is trading in a range that, you know, this is a dollar cost average situation. But this was the best buying opportunity in, you know, a month and a half. So I guess maybe I should have bought some, but I didn't. I didn't buy or sell anything today. Nothing. Let's check in on the poll. This poll shocks me. I'm easily shocked. Will the Fed raise rates at this meeting on Wednesday? So, yes, 45% say yes. They think the Fed is going to raise rates, and 55% say no. So I'm going to call it. So no wins by a little, but that is another split decision, really. I mean, these are super close, and it's now 54 to 46, getting closer. So once again, within the margin of error, I'm sure. That is not what I expected at all. I'm stunned. So if we look at the overall futures market, and I'll refresh again because you never know. So in the futures market, we're at almost an 80% chance of no rate hike. So the rest of the market's a little more optimistic than you guys on this rate hike thing, but we're still at almost 21% that does think there's going to be a rate hike. And this is not a vote. This is how the futures market is pricing this in. So, you know, it'll be what it's going to be. But I'm honestly, so now that the poll is over, I'll tell you my opinion. I think there will be no rate hike tomorrow, and I will be extremely surprised if they raise rates tomorrow. Also, I would add to that, I think it would be a big mistake. There's just no reason that I can see why they would raise rates at tomorrow's meeting. Now, the one reason you could say is, well, every single meeting for the last year, they've raised rates. So what makes you think they're going to stop this meeting? So, you know, I understand that's a valid line of reasoning, but they signaled that they were going to take a pause. Now, to back off of that and raise rates right now, you know, the key variable would be if tomorrow's CPI number is, you know, a very bad surprise to the upside, that may start to create a case for them. But you can see the optimism here on tomorrow's number. I mean, last month was 4.9. Consensus is 4.1. So even if we miss consensus by a mile and it comes in at like 4.5, that's still a significant improvement month over month. It's hard to argue that that justifies a rate hike, in my opinion. And we've got some big issues on the other side of this. These rates cannot get much higher, or it's going to be a big, big problem for the economy, for the housing market, for loans, for, you know, as in the U.S. here, for the national debt. You know, more the longer these rates stay high, the more of our debt that gets converted from, you know, the 1 or 2% interest to this, you know, 5% interest that's happening right now. So let's see. Edmund. Iris is not advertising their stock. They are simply informing investors. Market cap of $205 million and forward revenue of $150 million. 55 million shares and zero debt. Best miner, period. So I happen to agree with wholeheartedly with what Edmund is saying there. there's a lot of, and the one thing I'll say is, you know, I won't say any one of these is the best miner. There's a lot of different arguments to be made, but I will say I'm adding to my Iris position more than anything else, and it's for all those reasons that Edmund just listed out. They've got, this is a company that got, you know, they were able to walk away from $100 million in debt. It was a game changer for this company. They're now they're now have more exahash than they did back when they had $100 million in debt. So, and their market cap is less. So there's no logic in their stock price / market cap right now. To me, that is just a waiting game, in my opinion. So not financial advice, but, you know, I think that right now, and I said this on the stream last week, I'm not saying it's the best company. I do think it has, because it's so underpriced, I think it has the most upside in the short term out of all the Bitcoin miners. There are several others, though, that, you know, it's not like it's a runaway. And when we did that vote, Iris actually came in second place. The members of our live stream actually thought CleanSpark had more upside in the short term. So, you know, CleanSpark, Iris, there's several others that, you know, and it depends on what Bitcoin does, obviously. Alex said S&P 500 is breaking its resistance. So that was I think I went away from it, but that was the other chart that I was going to lead with, because if you look at, like, Alex is spot on this one. Oh, I got to get this drawing tool out of here. So this was August of 2022. So not quite a year ago, but you can see since then, you know, we got all the way down, and this was a little relief rally, but, you know, this was not the high, because if I go further back, you can see that's the high. So we were already down significantly off of our all-time high, but we had a nice relief rally. From there, we pulled way back, but now you can see we broke through today. We broke through this line. I'm going to zoom in so get a better look. So I don't know if this switched candles now to the next day, but you can see we just broke through. This has been, we haven't been anywhere near this since August of 2022. We tested this a week ago, and it got rejected, but today, right through. So to me, that's a potential, you know, that's a very bullish indicator. That's, if it can create this as a line of support now, there could be a nice run in the market, in the S&P 500. We already know the NASDAQ already had a very nice run, but this is also officially very much a bull market. Let me zoom out. Right from the bottom in October until now, we're up almost 25% on the SPY, which is a mirror of the S&P 500. So that's bull market territory. Obviously, we got wrecked to get down to this point. So, you know, that was a rough bear market. But, you know, it looks like the tide has turned for now anyway. Oh, Stephen English is saying in the UK he's unable to buy Iris Energy. Well, that's a bummer. Well, there's thankfully, there's 18 that I follow, and there's more than that. I know there's a few I don't follow because they're so small and they're not pure plays on Bitcoin. But there's an awful lot of plays out there on Bitcoin, Bitcoin miners, and cryptocurrency. Don't forget to smash the like button if you'd be so kind. We're at 42 likes. We'll know. I'll tell you when we'll know we're back in a bull market for Bitcoin. When we start getting 100 likes again on our live stream.
I don't know if that's going to happen, Tom.
Ever? You think the bull market has gone?
No, I think that YouTube doesn't like us.
We did not say anything today to get throttled or offend.
It doesn't matter. You're talking about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
They don't like Bitcoin, so. Oh, should we start trash talking Bitcoin? Is that the way to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to get there. I don't even think you can mention it. I just think it's a buzzword, and it's automatic.
Bitcoin, Bitcoin.
You get shadow banned. The only way to grow the channel now is off of YouTube, by the way.
I know. You and I have been brainstorming on how to do that. I mean, I don't think you can abandon YouTube, but...
No, I'm not saying abandon it. I'm saying the only thing you can grow it is like going to the Twitter and whatever.
The Twitter and the TikTok and
the Tiki and the Instagram and have a hot chick.
Yeah, hey, listen, that's what the live stream members voted for.
Did they really?
I call it diversity. We need more diversity of on-air personnel. So that includes not me and you. That includes that is a group of everyone in the world except me and you.
Yep.
Ron is asking, what about... Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to sneak out.
All right, George, thanks for joining us.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Special guest, George, today. Ron's asking me, what do you think about your view on the first poll, which was Bitcoin 30,000 or 25,000? So, I mean, I think Bitcoin's headed towards $30,000. So I can't sit here and say, wow, I'm going to be stunned if you know, it candle wicks down to 25,000 in the middle, because it has gotten close several times. But I do think if it does that, it will find strong support there, and we're headed towards 30,000. So to me, it's almost a little bit of a technicality. I do think we're headed towards 30,000 in my opinion. I said I'm surprised, but I guess, you know, we've been between 25,400 and 26,000 for a while now, so I guess it should come as no surprise that people think there's a decent chance we'll go down and hit 25,000. We've been hanging out pretty close to it for a while now, so you know, the next one that I'll do maybe is 30,000 or 20,000 or even 24,000, right? Do we think we're going to break that line of support and go lower? That might be the right question to start asking. Because I think the answer to that is no. That's my personal opinion. JJT said, ask Sue to be your TikTok hot chick. I can, yes, we can invite her on as a guest. Oh, that's true. We have some diversity on the channel. It's not just me and George. We've had several of other executives from the Bitcoin mining companies on the channel as well. Steven said, I'm happy with you two guys, if I'm honest. Well, thank you, Steven. You know, maybe we just have to change our thumbnails. No, I believe that Bitcoin, you know, we are very sideways. So Bitcoin's in a lull, investors are in a lull. I've seen a lot of YouTube channels really talking about, actually I saw one YouTuber that I watch a lot do an entire video on the fact that anybody in the investment, particularly in the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency part of YouTube, their views are down drastically right now. And so, you know, I think that's indicative of the sideways action we've been getting. But I see a lot of you guys on all the live streams, and somebody's watching the videos. So, you know, there's a group of us that are roughing it out through this tougher period. And hey, listen, to me, this is not the tough period. The tough period was, right, if I go back to the one day, Right, this was tough. This FTX thing, that was tough. Like, if you remember, when we were bouncing around here, the conversation was, are we going to 10,000? Are we going to 8,000? Are we going to 3,000? That was the prevailing conversation. Well, we didn't go to any of those places. We went straight up from there. But we did have to go through months of sideways activity to get there. So that sideways activity was a lot scarier to me than this is. Particularly since this line has held so strong. You can see this was resistance. It bumped into this and failed. And now it's just clearly support. So until that changes, I remain confident. And that doesn't mean it's impossible, right? The momentum shifts and changes happen. But for me at the moment, everything says we've got pretty strong support. And whether we have to wait for it and how long we have to wait for it, I don't know. But I still think the next move is up, and I still think it's going to be a good year. So I'm still pretty optimistic about 2023. I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to hit its all-time high, but you can see, the S&P is now in a solid bull market. The NASDAQ is on a great run, and Bitcoin still, even after this pullback, Bitcoin's still, $11,000 off of its, more like $10,000 now, off of its lows from, late 2022. So I think everything's moving in the right direction. Miner Doc, stay to content, no chick bait. And Mark said, LOL chick bait, nice. Yeah, that's the first time maybe that's a term and I just don't know it. Nicely done, Miner Doc. Yeah, well, if we're gonna get a woman on the channel, we're gonna have to bring them on, because according to my statistics, there are no women that actually view the channel. So, and I shouldn't say none, but it's less than. It's at one point it was almost 3%. That was like record-breaking numbers, but it's almost always been less than 1%. I don't know why that is. Is that reflective of the investment community? Is that reflective of the cryptocurrency community? I'm surprised any channel would be that skewed in any of its statistics of its demographics. That's wild to me. Edmund saying, Stephen Andrews, price has to be around 50K by the halving, or else the inefficient miners will be in big trouble. Would reduce the worldwide hash rate and help the efficient miners, Iris and Wolf. So that's true. I mean, and that's something we've talked about, and that reality, we're getting closer and closer. It's now June of 2023. This halving's coming in April of 2024, thereabouts. So we're coming right up on that, and I agree with Edmund's number. If we're not above 50K, there's plenty of companies where even if they could survive at that point, is it even worth it? So, they're going to be losing money. They may even find a way to stay cash flow, break even. But, I mean, at some point. So that's one of the reasons I do think, the fact that the worldwide hash rate continues to increase and the difficulty level continues to increase. There's a lot of people investing a lot of money that feel like Bitcoin is going to make its move to the upside, but the question is when. JD said, if you want more women viewers, you have to talk about pop culture. The problem is I don't know anything about pop culture, so I would have to bring on a pop culture expert. No, we're going to add more. We're going to add more stocks and sectors. We've talked about this at great length and haven't done it yet. I follow the EV stocks a lot. I follow a lot of small cap, high growth stocks. A lot of other things are getting very interesting right now. We talked about Tesla, I don't know, a week or two ago, and said it was ready to roll, and it's been running since then. So, and they got a bunch of good news. And I know, there's already a lot of Tesla videos out there, so I don't want to turn into a Tesla channel, but that doesn't mean I'm, should be banned from talking about them. It's it's one of the biggest companies in the world. It's one of the most innovative companies in the world. And I'm not a Tesla cheerleader. Those of you who've watched me long enough know I'm not a Tesla cheerleader, but listen, they've got Ford and General Motors converting to, their charging stations. I just saw, I think yesterday, Blink announced they're going to convert to Tesla's charging technology. So, that's getting mass adoption. And that's just one tiny piece of their world, I understand, but it's just another thing they're succeeding at. They've got a pretty good track record going. The miners are hedging for this is Bernoulli Fish. The miners are hedging for the halving. Anyone with experience has been through this before. The price has never been much more than double the price at the cycle lows at the halving. So, not looking for all-time highs at the halving, but I think we do need to be at a certain spot. So Bernoulli Fish is saying if, in this cycle, double the low of 15.5 would be 31,000. The only thing that I would add to that, Bernoulli Fish, is that this cycle is the first cycle ever where that low took out the high of the previous cycle. So that's never happened. So we went to lower places this time than we've ever been to before in the history of any cycle of Bitcoin. We broke a lot of the rules this time. There have been a lot of and again, it's a super small sample group. We've only had a few halvings, but there have been a lot of rule of thumbs about this way these cycles work, and almost none of them held up in this cycle. So while I agree with Bernoulli, I do think, though, that, that 15 was artificially low, and I still think 50 is a pretty reasonable price target. And, maybe it's 44. I don't know what, who knows? Stephen Andrews, try wearing a Brad Pitt mask. Yeah, they got to come and see the channel to even see that I'm wearing a Brad Pitt mask. I got to put Brad Pitt in the thumbnail. Edmund said Iris has a plan to get to 31.6 exahash. This could take 5 to 8 years, maybe less. They will be at 6.5 exahash in November, December. The FCF will allow them to grow without dilution. Once again, 55 million shares. Yeah, so, right. I think there's a very strong bull case for Iris Energy. Their cost per coin is not at the level of Cypher. To me, is running away with first place in cost per coin, but TeraWulf is, their numbers keep getting better and better and closer to what they said they were going to do. So those two companies tend to have a much lower cost per coin. So there's an argument to be made for those. Iris Energy, what I do like is this, what Edmund is talking about. They've got a clear path to continued growth for a long time. They don't have to try to seek out and search where's the next reliable place to get energy at a reasonable price. They've already got that on lockdown. So, and Bernoulli Fish is saying it will certainly squeeze the inefficient miners out. It always does. Yeah, so, it's unreasonable to think that everybody's going to survive the halving. The only way that's going to happen is if Bitcoin takes some unexpected, massive turn to the upside. And that would be very unexpected. I haven't heard a single person call for that. Having said that, that's probably the greatest evidence of, the fact that it could possibly happen, because the one thing nobody anticipates tends to be the thing that happens more often than not in the cryptocurrency world. I'm not counting on it. I'm not investing based on that, obviously, but you never know. Ray is saying, Tom, which miners will break their stock price all-time high in 2025? And Ray is saying Marathon, Riot, ... anything else. I think many of these Bitcoin miners will break their all-time high in 2025. That's based on my expectation of Bitcoin, which is that it will break its all-time record. I think Bitcoin's going to break its all-time record in 2024. I think it's going to break 100,000 in 2024 or 2025. So those are healthy numbers. If those numbers are higher than your expectations, then you may think that not as many are going to get there, but a lot of these companies should get back to their all-time highs. I think CleanSpark's a weird one to analyze because their all-time high was $40-something, and that was really before they were even mining Bitcoin. That was during a different bubble. That was back in January of 2021, that December 2020, January 2021 bubble of small cap companies that were considered high growth, most of which were either pre-revenue or next to no revenue, no profitability, no path to profitability, and those things were just going to the moon. So if you disregard that 40, I think their high is something around $25. So yeah, I would expect CleanSpark to get past that. I would expect Riot to get past its high, Marathon to get past its all-time high. I would expect, I personally, you guys know I like Bitfarms. I think they'll get past their all-time high. That's my quick list. Some of them that I think will never get back to their all-time high. I like Stronghold, and it might even be a good stock to buy and hold in the future, but I don't think it's ever getting back to its all-time high. Argo Blockchain, I don't think it's ever getting back to its all-time high. I can say with a certain extreme degree of confidence that GREE is never getting back to its all-time high. Again, I can't say that is a fact. This is not financial advice, but if you run the math, I don't know what kind of miracle would have to happen for GREE to get back to its all-time high. And invest $50 in them, and you're going to be a millionaire if that happens. So that's how much they're not getting back to their all-time high. And I don't know, a lot of these, I don't know that they'll get back to their all-time high, but that doesn't mean they won't be a good company to invest in. Edmund is saying, Tom, now have 56K Iris shares. This is a long-term hold. Love their facilities and their management. So Edmund's in strong with 56,000 shares. That's a sizable investment in Iris Energy. Is that your biggest position? Or I know you also like TeraWulf quite a bit. So I think you've told us those are your two big positions. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one was your bigger. But yeah, that's a high level of conviction. Iris is not yet in my top 2, but it's getting there. I think by the end of this year, it could be. At one point, Riot turned into my largest holding only because it ran up so much. While some others lagged behind, it passed them. So I actually sold off some of my Riot and bought into other things such as Iris Energy. So I try to keep it balanced. I'm mostly a long-term buy and hold, so for a lot of these companies, I would not be doing that. But to me, the thing about Marathon and Riot, even though I think they'll probably get to their all-time highs again, their market cap is just so much bigger than everybody else's. I think there's a lot more room for some of these other companies to go from, you know, $250 million to $2.5 billion. That's a 10x, and you're only at $2.5 billion. Riot's already at $2 billion right now, so right, they got to get to $20 billion to 10x. That, to me, that's a tougher journey. Edmund said, we'll buy as much Iris as I can under $4. The math says 40 to 55 in 2 years. I hope you're right. That would be very good news for you and me. So, and probably a lot of other people watching along here today. Hut was strong today. And Shaman saying, hi, Tom. Any news of Hut? So I have no new news from Hut. I haven't bought, and I'm not buying Hut in 2023. I haven't bought any Hut, and I do think they still have, you know, one of the strongest balance sheets in the industry. I think they have a lot of uncertainty right now. Their stock is behaving fairly well. I mean, it closed today at $2, so, you know, there's nothing wrong with their stock performance, but there is a lot more uncertainty around them than several of the other Bitcoin miners at this time. Now, maybe that uncertainty is going to pay off. You know, if things fall their way. So I don't know. I'm much more indecisive. That went on January 1st of 2023. I put out my list of highest conviction miners. That was in my top 4. It's not anymore. It's still in my top 8, but it did fall down the list for me, you know, and that's just my personal opinion. But I haven't gone negative on it. I just, some of these other companies like Iris Energy moved way up my list. Cypher moved way up my list. So, you know, when somebody goes up, somebody else has to go down. Pobrain said 8K of Marathon shares, long-term 2 to 3 year conviction play. So that's a heavy commitment into Marathon. And I do think that's going to be a great play. Marathon is a love them or hate them for a lot of people. So I know that's a touchy subject, as several of these Bitcoin miners have turned into. But, you know, for me, I just try to, you know, the great thing about the Bitcoin miners is once a month they tell us, you know, an awful lot of information. I'm not going to say they tell us everything, because they don't. You got to wait for your quarterly financial statements to get certain information. And then by the time you get that, you know, it's 45 days later and a little bit of that's already dated. So, you know, nobody's in real time. But this very up-to-date information, we get our monthly reports. And so that's one of the things I love about the Bitcoin mining, you know, investing in the Bitcoin miners. You can continuously see, you know, are they doing what they said they were going to do? And are they doing, more importantly, are they doing what you thought they were going to do when you made your investment plan? And if they are, you know, then you can feel good. And if they're not, you can adjust accordingly. Ryan is saying, yes, Iris will be the biggest miner in the world. Management will execute, and they're poised to do it. Edmund said, the better other miners do just helps Iris Energy. They will outperform all, or at least other miners. So, I mean, I'm on record. I'm adding to my Iris position. And like I said, I had no Iris position on January 1st, 2023. I was not even in Iris Energy. It doesn't mean I didn't like them. I had done some video. They changed their financial position in a drastic way. So by walking away from a bunch of debt, and that's to management's credit. A lot of people criticized management and said, you know, oh, it's a bad look, you didn't pay your debt. But the thing is, management of the company and a lending institution came to an agreement. And a part of that agreement was that under certain circumstances, Iris Energy was allowed to just walk away from the debt. Now, they had to sacrifice some of the Bitcoin mining machines that were held as collateral. So, you know, that's the deal they all agreed on. So you can't, to me, I don't fault management for, you know, taking the best option that's on the table for them. And in the case of Iris Energy, I think it completely transformed their company. That $100 million of debt was crippling to them. Bitcoin was in a crypto winter, down at $15,500, $16,000. It just wasn't going to happen with that debt hanging over their head. So they managed to do, I think, you know, they got rid of that $100 million, and for $20 million, they're now further ahead than they were. So, you know, that's a big, gigantic turnaround. That's a good story. That's a good investment story from my perspective anyway, and it sounds like a lot of people on the stream agree with that. Robert, are Riot insiders selling? And if so, what do people think about this? So, yeah, there was some inside selling with Riot. And Riot did pull back a bunch on that. But they're still way, way up. They're still over $10. They're still in the neighborhood of a $2 billion market cap company. I'm less worried about that. And I know, you know, listen, management and insiders sell stock. Some of that is planned well in advance. Some of it, you know, happens when it happens, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. I have a few other questions for Riot. And again, it is a big position for me, and I like Riot, but their insider selling is not the thing I'm most worried about. The thing I'm most worried about is their hosting. So I would love to have another follow-up conversation and get a little more detailed explanation as to why their hosting numbers are, I'm sorry, they're a disaster. So maybe the solution is already on the table and they just got to bite the bullet for a few quarters as it plays itself out. I don't know the answer to those questions, but you know, if you look at the financial statements, their hosting segment of their business went from bad to much worse. So I'd like to see that trend reverse. A lot of love for Iris Energy on the stream. Robert Anderson, Ryan, both big into Iris. Robert said, great move by Iris on the debt. So I totally agree. Ray said, Tom, is Fred Thiel, Marathon CEO, a well-known guy in Bitcoin mining industry? Is he reputable? I mean, you know, is he reputable is a personal opinion. To me, yes. I don't have an issue with Fred. I think he's probably a super smart guy. I think financially they've made some outstanding moves as a company. But, you know, there's different parts of a company. So you've got the financial side of things, which is critical because bottom line, every business, you run out of cash, you're done. I don't care how great you are at everything else. You can be the best in every single thing in the world. If your cash management's no good, then you're going to go out of business. So I think Marathon's extremely strong on that side of the equation. In 2022, operationally, they looked like they were not doing well. No, they were not doing well. That's, if you look at their monthly operational reports, that's just historically, that's what happened. But in 2023, in my opinion, they're doing much, much better. So now they bring that strong financial piece of their puzzle. And if they're going to add the operational piece of their puzzle, and they're not at the finish line, and I'm not saying they are, but to me, they're trending in the right direction. I like Marathon now. So it's not a big position for me, and I don't know. We'll see. I do want to see more consistency. I think they're going to have a super hard time. Apparently, they had a great 24 hours the last 24 hours, but I think it's going to be very hard in June for them to beat their May numbers, but we'll see what happens. But a lot of good things, in my opinion, happening at Marathon, and certainly I don't think Fred would be a reason to worry about them, in my opinion. He has talked about selling the company more than once, but you know what? That could end up being a good thing for shareholders. Michael Anthony, even coin selling off with the SEC that Bitcoin isn't safe any longer. So to me, everything the SEC has done, in my opinion, does not affect Bitcoin in any way, shape, or form. Now, it does affect, they specifically sued Coinbase. So, yes, that stock ticker, that company's stock did take a hit, although I think they might have had a good day today. But they're down. This is a fight we knew was coming. It's been in the works. It's been a very high-profile situation. So what's going on between the SEC and Coinbase is no surprise. I think it's going to work out just fine for them in the end. So I don't own Coinbase. I probably never will because I'm in the Bitcoin miners, and my next move is going to be to go into Bitcoin and maybe 2 other cryptocurrencies. But I'm being as patient as I possibly can on that. So Coinbase isn't in the cards for me, but that doesn't mean, I don't think they're a good company. I think they'll be the winner in North America. Ryan said Iris to the moon, to the rocket ship, whatever the case may be. Where's your other one, Ryan? Iris and Cleanspark, I thought. Poe Brain said Riot and Marathon are years ahead. So what I would add to that is they're years ahead in institutional adoption. That is true. But I don't know that they're years ahead in execution. I think there's some companies that are going to be right there with them, in the next 24 months. So time will tell, but I think you're going to see, I think there's a high probability that CleanSpark will mine more Bitcoin than Riot in this year, 2023. Now, their balance sheets are not the same. Their business models are not the same. So, that's just one piece of the puzzle. But I would be surprised. To me, I think you're going to see, not including Core Scientific, because, I don't know what their deal is yet. But I think you're going to see Marathon, then CleanSpark, then Riot from a production standpoint. We'll see about a profitability standpoint. And there's some others behind that do have big plans. So, Ryan's saying, even at $7 a share, Iris would be disgustingly undervalued. Yeah, I mean, they could easily pull a double and be just fine. That would still only put them somewhere around a $400 million market cap, which is less than, I think that's less than HUT right now. But let me look. Yeah, that would still leave them with a smaller market cap than HUT. Now, HUT has a super strong balance sheet. They have over 9,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, so that has to be a factor. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of upside for all these companies, and none of them are anywhere near the ultimate market caps that they're going to be at, in my opinion. Michael Anthony said people are buying mostly all tech and chip companies. So, yeah, big tech has had a nice run lately. And we'll see. We'll see how high they can go. Some of these, I think, have run up. They're out ahead of their skis, in my opinion. So, it's an unpopular opinion, but to me, you got NVIDIA at $975 billion. So, plus or minus, this is a $1 trillion market cap company. A lot of you likely disagree with me, but I think that's madness. So, and I see some other things like this out there. Now, I'm not going to bet against him because momentum is real and you don't want to fight it. But I don't know how much longer. I mean, look at Apple. Apple's at almost $2.9 trillion. This is about to go over $3 trillion. So, how much longer can this thing run? I don't know. But these are the types of company where it's also, at the same token, it's hard to bet against them. It's been a mistake for the last 15 years. Betting against Apple's been a big mistake. Edmund said, Tom, recently Seeking Alpha article is positive on Iris Energy and big time negative on Coinbase and MicroStrategy. Please read the Seeking Alpha article before considering Coin and MicroStrategy. So I will check that out, and I did see the headline of that article, but I did not go through it and read the article. So I'll go see what they're talking about. And I think Coinbase and MicroStrategy are wildly different companies. So I will read that article. I'd like to see what their issue is with MicroStrategy. Bernoulli Fish said, Tom, have you ever looked at the chart of total miner revenue, US dollar value of all mined coins per day? So, yeah, I mean, I do follow that, but I will tell you, I think it's more important. Exahash efficiency, number of Bitcoin mined. And the reason I think that's more important than revenue at the moment is revenue is just simply tied to Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin. So, you know, a lot of these companies are mining 50% more Bitcoin, but their revenue's flat year over year. Well, that's true because this last year was a crypto winter. But what if next year is a crypto bull market and they continue on that path? All of a sudden, you're going to see revenue skyrocket. And with that, you're going to see gross profit skyrocket. And with that, you're going to start to see earnings per share. And you're going to see PE ratios. You're going to see companies that's market value is below their book value. You know, those things I think are ahead for the Bitcoin miners that will ultimately, you know, be the ones that win. Craig, Apple Vision Pro headset has a $3,499 base price, and they will sell. Yeah, I mean, apparently that thing's pretty spectacular, but there's not a lot of I don't think there's a lot of use case for it at the moment because the rest of the technology hasn't caught up with it, but I'm sure they'll sell their share of those, and they'll also integrate that technology, you know, into everything else they do, and I gotta believe they'll also come down on that price as time goes by. So, but yeah, they keep doing their thing. I've thought Apple was overpriced for a long time, but again, that's why I don't short stocks. They just, you know, the stocks, there's some stocks that, you know, and it's not, if you look at Apple, this says their trailing PE is 30. So, you know, I haven't verified that, but, you know, that's not a crazy number. That's not a crazy number at all. And if we go to Nvidia, this is a crazy number. Their trailing PE is 203. Their forward PE isn't much better. So it's not like, oh, you know, the game's going to change and that's going to turn to 30 next year. No. Maybe it'll turn to 120. Maybe, if they do what they say they're going to do. So those types of numbers to me, and it's not like, okay, but it's a small cap, high growth company, so, you know, it's got to trade at that PE because it's going to grow into it. No, this is already $1 trillion stock. How's it going to grow into this PE ratio? My personal opinion, but that's why I feel that's one part of my line of reasoning for why I feel Nvidia's run out ahead of itself. All right, I have to wrap it up. I got to make some videos tonight, so I hope everybody enjoyed. This was a special edition. My tech support and editing support was gone all weekend, so I was not able to release a video. So I did want to get and talk to everybody because there's a bunch going on. Most importantly, most imminently, before the market opens tomorrow, we will have CPI data. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I think CPI data is going to be a good number. You know, I don't know if it's going to be, again, consensus is 4.1. That would be just spectacular. If it gets anywhere near that, in my opinion, that's a great, great number. If it beats that, if it starts with a 3, you could see a big move to the upside in the market. But the market's already built in a lot of this optimism, you know, and you can see that's why the market's been running. So, all right, thank you, everybody, very much. Thank you. Special thanks to all the members. Thanks to all the subscribers. And thanks to everybody who continues to join the chat and allow us to have a nice chat. So we'll see you guys. We'll see the members tomorrow on a members-only live stream. And then, as always, live stream for everybody Friday after the market closes. So thanks again. Have a great night, everybody.